Hey guys, thanks for checking out this short video. I'm Cheyenne and here with me is my dear friend Eliza. I'm so passionate about spreading healthy living and I'm so excited to share this information with you. So I truly do appreciate you taking this time to hear more about all of this. And I'm so excited to give you a little bit of insight on what we're up to. I'll just go ahead and jump right into my story. Throughout my childhood, I faced hardships that tested my mentality. I had to leave home at a young age and I spent the majority of my teenage years moving into new homes with different families that would take me in temporarily. And after turning 18, I yearned to do the things that kept me inspired and driven. But I was battling anxiety, depression, and childhood trauma. And I realized how desperately I needed to heal my mind and my body with proper nutrition and care. And so I skipped out of college. I moved to a small town in Colorado to pursue my passions and my dreams. And after moving here, I was so happy. I could do all the things that I've always wanted to do. But truthfully, it just didn't last long. That depression, anxiety, and past trauma worked itself back to the surface, and I was exhausted. Considering I'm a fly fishing guide and I'm constantly outside and I'm active, and I thought that I ate relatively healthy, at the end of the day, I would get home from work and I was just ready for a nap. I just didn't have the energy to go and do the things that I once loved. And then a friend, Eliza, introduced to me this revolutionary nutrition journey, and it transformed my health. I mean, considering I now have the energy to go and do the things that I love, and I'm so excited for this journey that I decided to go on. And I can't wait to see what happens to my mind and my body the longer I incorporate this into my life. So I will just go ahead and pass this over to Eliza, and she'll tell you a little bit more about the product side of things.
Thanks, Cheyenne. I love hearing your story. It's so exciting to just hear all the stories that we have in this community. It's pretty amazing. My name's Eliza. I live in Carbondale in Colorado, right next to Cheyenne. And I just want to open this up by, I've been involved in this business for the past year and a half, and same thing with the product as well. I'm going to talk more about the product today. So even, I want to preface this with, even if you hear something that, resonates with you, but maybe you're not ready for this, or resonates with you and also, you think of somebody else, definitely reach out to us. We're happy to be a support system and give any information that we need to you or to anybody else that you love and care about. So I'm going to reference this Dr. Phillips quite a bit during this conversation, since I'm not a doctor, and the products that we're talking about is the most researched nutritional product in the world. It stands alone with close to 38 published medical research studies that are gold standard and peer reviewed. And so not only are those, I'll talk a little bit more actually about what that exactly means a little while later, because I had no idea when I first began this. But to talk a little bit about the product. So it's really simple. It's literally just fruits and vegetables in a capsule. It's in the capsules alone, it's 30 different powders that make that fruit and veggies and berries. They're encapsulated, and it's equivalent to a juice. So think about how if you were to drink a juice, that is bioavailable to your system. So that's why that's why the health kick is so also kind of a fad today, is because you can get your nutrients so quick, right? But the one thing with juicing is that it can be really expensive. It can be really messy and really time consuming. And also, I don't know if you've ever noticed when you juice or if you've gone somewhere and bought one, but a lot of that stuff that's like coming out when you're juicing an orange or an apple is actually really important nutrients for your system. Some fun facts that I learned earlier this year is 80% of the nutrient value in an orange comes from the peel. I don't know about you, but I'm not eating an orange peel every day. I am now thanks to this product, but I wasn't before. So one thing that I really love about this, compared to juicing, is, much like juicing, it's bioavailable to the body. So because it's in such a tiny little powdered form, what bioavailable means is that it's going to absorb straight into your bloodstream rather than being digested like normal food. And so, the number one thing that I really love about this company and this product alone is that it's a really small product line. They've been around for about 25 years, so, it's a pretty progressive and older company, yet they stand alone with a very small product line. However, their leg of research and quality is huge. They're NSF certified. So what that means is they are a completely independent company that basically goes in, they test the soil, they test the product 6 times from growing season into encapsulation. So it literally is like farm to encapsulation and the quality from that moment. It takes about, this is just something, a random fact that I found out a couple days ago by listening to a video, but pretty much like the time that it takes for them to encapsulate the powder into the capsule is about a 3-hour process. So nothing is like sitting around. It's like you think about food trucks, like the test that they do for organic food, really it's good, but it's really not that good. Like they put it onto a truck. They're not testing it from the truck. Like what is in the truck? Like how far is it traveling? What is it, what is it being exposed to on the way there? There's so many different things that we don't think about that have to do with our food. And so I want you to, if anything else, like think about this as, just an educational, inspirational talk. So the next thing I want to talk about is on the label of these amazing powders is a nutrition label. So if you were to walk in the store and get these at a store, you would most likely find them in the fruit and vegetable produce aisle than in any supplement or vitamin aisle. The main thing, about that I really love is that our bodies recognize this as food. It's not a vitamin. It's not a supplement. It is supplementing what we do not get by adding more fruits and vegetables into our diet. Why do people take vitamins in the first place, right? It's usually because we think we're deficient of something that we're not getting from food. So why don't we just eat more food? And so this really it's that simple. It's more fruits and vegetables going inside of your diet. Something that I, recently stored back to Dr. Phillips, or recently found out, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I'm learning so much that I feel inclined to also share this information, and I'm very passionate about it. But for instance, take a company that's going to produce a supplement that is a vitamin C vitamin, right? They really, a lot of times what happens is that they research what vitamin C does for the body. They look up the regulations. They look up like what it does to the body. They create vitamin C. And so that way, like when it's put in the stores and put on the markets in the stores, like a lot of the regulations are not as good as you think. There's no research behind that particular company and business actually creating something that's working inside of your body. I like to call it expensive piss. And there's not a lot of research behind it. If you take an apple, for instance, there's 12,000 ingredients in an apple, phytonutrients that are really valuable for things like killing cancer cells, which we all have in our body, by the way. And just toxins that we're constantly exposed to because we live and breathe in this world. So, back to the apple, like you're never going to pick up an apple and look at the label and see 10,000 things listed on the apple. Like would just be ridiculous, right? But yet we know, and I know again, just by tuning in to doctors and articles, that there's 12,000 ingredients in an apple, natural vitamins, and I'm getting phytonutrients in my body. So imagine these powders that you'd be getting, 30 fruits and vegetables, berries, vine ripened every single day in your diet, getting that through your bloodstream. And so the next thing that I want to talk about is, I'm just going through my notes here, so sorry. The one thing I want to talk about is what peer-reviewed mean. I had no idea what this meant when I probably heard about it in college. I have no idea what it means even in college. So I'm going to talk about what it means right now. So what peer-reviewed means is pretty much it's a board of a bunch of people who know what they're talking about, scientists, doctors, professors, things like that, that take something like this product, are looking at it when it's brought to them. They pick it apart piece by piece. They're dissecting it. They're making sure that it's worth putting in their journal of studies, right? Like they're not going to put anything in there that is exposed to the world. Like all these journals that are published that this product is in are around the world. They're public to the world. They're in prestigious college institutes, things like that. So they really want to make sure that they will put in there is worth it. If they don't like the information, they will send it back to the company or the business and have them redo it until it's like up to par and up to their standard. So the other thing I want to touch on is stories, right? You heard Cheyenne's story, my story. I'm going to touch a little bit on in a couple minutes, but stories are really just stories without research, right? Like, we are exposed to so many things in this world. And I'm sure that maybe if you're watching this, you're like, that is one of those things. It's just another product. It's a pyramid scheme, whatever is on your mind. Like, I totally get. If you weren't skeptical, something would be wrong, right? We live in a world that we're saturated with things all the time. So I want you to just take a second to breathe. This is not one of those things. This is real. Like, this is real. This is set apart by research. There are stories upon testimonials of people that are curing their health and actually healing from the inside out. Our gut is our second brain. When you heal your gut, you're healing your entire body. And so think about that, like, all these people have these stories, and they're amazing and impactful, but they're only stories if there's not research backing it. This has research. One other quick thing that I want to talk about the product, because it's the two most important things, is oxidative stress. If you know about it, awesome. I didn't really know about it before I began this either, but I'm going to explain it like this. So take an apple. When you cut the apple in half, and if you left the apple out for about an hour later, it's going to be brown. It's probably going to look kind of old, right? The exact same thing happens to us. And so over time, because we are breathing and living in oxygen and need to breathe in oxygen, we are constantly exposed to oxidative stress. And for people that also like work out really hard or do, crazy Spartan races and things like that, people who work their bodies really hard are even more exposed to oxidative stress. The more you breathe, the more that you're exposed to it. And so by the way, this is all research that I'm talking about. If you want the actual studies behind this, ask Cheyenne. She can direct you towards this. This is not me making this up. This is an actual research showing that this product, these tiny little powders that are made of plants, are actually reversing oxidative stress. So it's an anti-aging component for your body that's just made of nutrition, whole food nutrition. The other main point of research that is shown with this is that it decreases inflammation in the body. Inflammation is the number one cause of every single disease that you could think of in the body. And again, this is not me making this up. There is hard research behind this. If you want to see it, Cheyenne will send it over to you. We're happy to share it. The last thing I kind of want to go on is part of my story. And so I feel pretty lucky that I've grown up in a health conscious family. I've been pretty much plant-based my whole life. But guess what? I was not getting 9 to 13 servings, which is what Dr. Phillips recommends, which is crazy if you think about it. 9 to 13 servings, vine ripened, fruits, veggies, and berries every single day. And guess what? What he recommends too, and many other doctors, if you're an athlete, that doubles. If you're sick, that triples. That is crazy. I don't know who's doing that in the world. That's why this product is here, to make it simple. And I'm not saying don't eat fruits and vegetables. Like, I'm saying eat more of them, if anything. But this is just meant to bridge the gap of like what we're not getting. This is preventative health. This is life insurance. This is for, like, why are we tuning into things just when things break down? This is preventative health. And so I want to say that, even being mostly plant-based, I knew I wasn't getting everything that I needed. And I was pretty amazed when I started pumping my veins through or with this whole food nutrition. Same kind of things like Cheyenne said, more energy, better sleep, better mental clarity. I had been somebody that also dealt with depression for a long time, and my world is just changed. And this is the only thing that I've been doing for the past year and a half. I will be on it for life. And it really is life insurance. Think about not only what you eat, but what you're exposed to every single day. I have a hard time when people come to me and they're like, I'm all good. Like, I'm healthy. I'm all good. And I'm like, you walk and breathe in this world. Like, you're constantly exposed to toxins, whether you like it or not. Do you fly on airplanes? Do you take a bus? Do you walk outside? Are you surrounded by cars? Like, do you put lotion on? You are surrounded by toxins, no matter how healthy you want to be or think that you are. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's just the reality of the world we're living in today. So, something that was really important to me was, has always been really important to me, is the quality of life. Like, life is really precious to us, and, to me in particular, and I know to Cheyenne too. And I have a feeling that's why we're sharing this with you, is because you believe in those same values. And if it's not for you, then maybe a family member or a friend, like, you never know who you could help. So I want to just make sure I didn't skip anything. There's so much more I could say, but I want to just leave you with that. And if any of this information or our stories resonated with you, please reach out to Cheyenne. We're happy to talk with you any further and answer any questions. So again, thanks for tuning in, and have a great night, everybody.